Hey guys, Wes here to answer Seqouiaflame's thread. I believe it's called the Personal thread, something like that. 6 really good questions here. I'm really excited to get into this, so let's go ahead and get into it. Question number 1, how intimate do you get with your records? I get quite intimate as far as I really like to clean them, put them in sleeves. Not only do I clean the records themselves, but I use a microfiber cloth and clean the jackets. If it's a used record, it has dust buildup on it and whatnot. And I'm really into sort of sleeving and organizing and just handling the records. And I really enjoy handling them and looking at them and just the whole aspect of vinyl is the hands-on sort of aspect of it. I really appreciate. It's difficult. The only time you really get a chance to do that is when you're at home and you're alone usually, or there's only 1 or 2 other people there. So it's not convenient, but I do appreciate when I do listen. I do appreciate the involvement that it takes to get into it. So let's move on. Question number 2, how do you feel about surface noise? I can put up with some surface noise. I don't really like it. I try to eliminate it as much as possible. As far as just cleaning really good. The sort of homemade VPI machine I made does a pretty good job of cleaning them, and if something's really noisy, I won't keep it in the collection. So I can deal with a little bit of surface noise, but as far as I'm concerned, the less the better. Not really looking for the nostalgia aspect of the surface noise at all. I'm looking for just good quality sound. Popping a clip here and there is fine with me, but try to avoid most surface noise. And question number 3, it's kind of an interesting one for me because I don't actually I have a favorite color vinyl. I think which sort of changes. I see my favorite colors in general seem to change from time to time. Right now I'm on like a purple kick, so I kind of like purple vinyl even though I don't have any other than the Andrema single is sort of that marbled purple color, which I like. But I really like to have like a solid purple vinyl. I have Purple Rain on vinyl, but it's just the black one. I know there's some purple ones out there, and some other stuff that might be on purple. I think there was a Boris album recently that was on purple, but I'm kind of not really into Boris yet. I've listened to some of their stuff. Some of it I like, some of it I don't. But definitely like purple. Another color I really like is I believe it's called Seafoam. If you've seen the Flaming Lips when they do the Dark Side of the Moon, that's a sort of a seafoam green color. I really like that color vinyl. It's sort of a solid light bluish greenish color. Really pretty color. I really like it. So that answers that. Question number 4: how do you drop the needle? Like I said in my response to my own thread, with that Ortophone head shell I have with the really long, I don't know, I guess lever it has on it. It makes it really easy to cue, and I do it pretty much always by hand. My turntable is automatic return, so I don't have to pick it up. It'll pick up by itself. But as far as dropping the needle, I do it by hand. I've just had problems in the past before with sort of lining things up and using the little flip down thing that lowers it slowly. If it hits a spot of dead wax, it kind of jumps a little bit, and sometimes it'll jump across a couple of tracks when it does that little jump. Even though it goes down slow, it still seems to jump. I don't know why it does that on some records, but so to avoid that, I'd rather just drop it by hand. I have better luck that way, and I've never really seemed to have done any damage doing it that way myself, doing it by hand, so I prefer to do it that way. And question number 5, do you prefer thick or thin vinyl? this is one that it really doesn't matter to me. Um, the Techniques table I have has a really heavy platter, and I use a record clamp. So once the record is clamped to the platter, it doesn't seem to make much a difference how thick the vinyl itself is at that point, because it's pretty much locked down to the platter, and it's all one big solid piece. So it's heavy nonetheless, even if it's a thin piece of vinyl. So I really don't notice the difference between thick or thin vinyl. Um, I guess I prefer it to be a little bit on the thick side, just to help avoid warpage and whatnot. The really thin ones seem to warp very easily, and I guess a nice thick piece of vinyl is better in that instance. But I really, with a heavy platter and using a clamp, I really don't notice any sound difference at all between thick and thin vinyl. Okay, and finally, question number 6. Imagine that a record became a person, and pick one you'd like to make love to, or something to that effect. I picked 3 here. Still loving this Fleet Foxes Helplessness Blues. It's just so beautiful and lush, and just love the sound on here. So that would definitely be one of them. Another one I picked was Sting, The Dream of the Blue Turtles. I don't know, just something about this made me think about, thinking about this question, something about this record turned me on, so I picked that one. It's got a lot of great songs on here and nice sound to it. And then the last one I picked here was Thompson Twins, Into the Gap. This is another one I play a lot. I love this album. It's a great album. Some great, it's got Doctor Doctor on here, and Hold Me Now on here, which is their big hits, but there's some really good deep tracks on here, like No Peace for the Wicked, and The Gap is probably my favorite song on here, is The Gap. Really great song. So those are my 3 picks for that question. Thanks for the awesome thread. Really enjoyed answering these, and just recently subscribed to your channel, so I'm looking forward to hearing more from you and learning about what you're into. So till next time, cheers.